Welcome to another top 5 with Kris 05, guys. Today we're gonna see what the new best decks in Hearthstone are after the latest changes. We did see a few new cards getting included in Standard, but have they actually made an impact so far? We're about to see. Anyway, I'm gonna show you 5 of the best decks for Easy Legend right now, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips about them, so you have a better idea of what you could be doing with, as well as what to expect against them, but we're also gonna check out all of the other working archetypes for each individual class, so stick around to the end. If you find what I'm doing helpful, a like and subscribe would be awesome, and don't forget you can check me out live on stream each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But now, let's get into it.
You are not prepared!
The first deck on the list is still gonna be Spell Demon Hunter, and this deck has been top tier for way too long right now, and even though Hounds of Fury did get slightly nerfed, I'm pretty sure this deck still deserves a little bit more for it to really feel balanced. Right now it just curves out a little bit too efficiently, it has a good amount of pressure, a good amount of card draw, and basically it can OTK you with the help of Broxigar eventually, because you also get to buff it with things like Lasting Legacy. Obviously the Eternal Hold is also way too good for what it is, and curving into it is basically game over for the opponent for the most part. And yeah, all around it's a pretty top tier deck, and definitely one of the best ways to get the Easy Legend with, including Top Legend, even though the meta there kinda shifted against it. You can definitely check out my detailed guide about it if you really want to know how to play it, but now let's see what the matchups are, and here's what it looks like right now. It really doesn't have too many bad ones, but Mirifra definitely is negative for it. Things like Quest Mage might be a little bit too high rolly, and of course things like Egg Warlock and Warrior are the best counters to this deck, but you don't see too many of those from Diamond to Legend, at least, even though in Top Legend we did kinda see quite a few, but now it kinda balanced out again. Hero Rogue might also be a little bit too strong, but for the most part everything else is green. When going first, you are gonna try to get yourself your good early game card draw. Your Sigil of Seas is amazing, the Time Lost Glaive is a great turn 1 play, Waver and Slumber for a couple of minions, turn 3 would be great, curving into Eternal Hold is usually GG, the Portal, the Sigil, and heck, even Horn of Feasting if it's already outcasted. Depending on the matchup, Infestation can also be a great keep, and honestly Nespira is also pretty worth it. Going second, the situation is basically the same. Try to get your dormant cards, your good early game curve, and curving into the Eternal Hold usually is gonna be pretty good for you. If you're curving into Hounds of Fury and you're not against Rogue, that also might be worth it. For other good Demon Hunter decks, we really don't have anything else, honestly. It's nothing but Spell Demon Hunter out there right now, even though we did see an interesting version of an aggressive Demon Hunter out there from not too long ago, so you can definitely check that one out from not too long ago on my channel if you want to play something different for Demon Hunter. Spot number 2 goes for Bubble Paladin, and this is one of the simplest and most straightforward decks you could be climbing the Easy Legend with right now, and honestly it even has better stats than Spell Demon Hunter, but the reason why I'm putting it on spot number 2 is because with Spell Demon Hunter you can even hit Top Legend, whereas with this one it kinda fizzles out as soon as you reach respectable Legend ranks. This version is having a little bit bigger, better early game, and also it does include both Acceleration Aura and Convalescence, which kinda messes it up, like sometimes you're gonna be wanting one and you're gonna get the other, and vice versa, but it definitely does give you a lot more better situations for your Violet Treasure Guild, basically never being empty. We also have a couple of Sand Fury Auras in here, with which you get to amp up your end turn effects, and you have plenty of those, including things like Spearheart Sentry, Nasdormu, as well as the Scale Breaker, and all of those getting doubled up can be absolutely insane. And we of course have Gelban at the end, but also the flight maneuvers so you can be aggressive early on. Again, I have several different detailed guides about all sorts of different variations of this pally, so give them a check and see which one you like best, but so far this seems to be the best one. As for the matchups, here's what we have right now. Nothing really bad, like literally the worst matchup is 46% win rate, so that's kinda insane. So all in all, you should be winning a lot more than you're losing with this one. As for when going first, you are gonna try and curve out with your good 1-2-3s, and Righteous Protector is your best one drop. Curving into Acceleration Aura or into Violet Treasure Guild would be best. Convalescence is an okay keep. Flight Maneuvers can be great, and if you already have it, you might want to keep all sorts of different cheap stuff in between it, and Sparring Maul might be worth it, even though in most cases I'd say not really. I'd much rather have a Treasure Guild instead of it. The Nomergan can be okay. These are cards you could hold on to if you have the maneuvers, basically. Curving into the Spearheart Sentry could be worth it, especially if you're against the Face Hunter. Xavius curved into is also kinda okay, the rest probably not so much, even though depending on the matchup, Manifested Timeways, if you already have a Violet Treasure Guild or Acceleration Aura, could be great. Going second, again, look for the good 1-2-3s and you should be good. As for other pally decks, right right now. I'm showing you this one because it has a bigger sample size. No, actually it's this one. It doesn't have the egg, which is kind of interesting, but honestly a lot of the time the egg feels kind of wonky in this one because you don't have that many buffs with it. But as you see, it's nothing but flight maneuvers or a pally at the top. We can also see some silver hand pallies doing quite well. This is a slightly lower win rate deck, however, but still pretty good sample size. Here's the biggest bubble pally sample size variant with a lot more games in it, but all around it's kind of the same deal. And we can scroll down further to see some other stuff, and as you see, not much else is actually working for the class right now, including Imbue Pally, which definitely looks pretty dog water right now. Kind of funny that Aggro Pally is not on this list anymore, but I do believe it's still a playable deck, albeit not as good as the rest of them. On the number 3 spot, we have Herald Shaman again, and this deck still is quite the monster of a deck, even though it got slightly nerfed not too long ago with Skywell losing 1 health and the Flight of the Firehawk losing a little bit of stats. It's still pretty busted, and you could even see plenty of it in Top Legend, so again, it does have very good stats both from Diamond 5 and in Top. Nothing too crazy about this version, it has a single Hex and a single Lightning Storm, but you could be including a second copy of either of these if you feel like it, and the card you usually cut for those would be the Wailing Vapors, even though those can also be pretty strong. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard stuff. Honestly, maybe one less Envoy of the End could also be worth it, because it does feel a little bit slow for the most part, but this list does indeed include it, and so far it does seem like it's the best. Again, give a check to my detailed guides about it if you really want to know how to play this deck. Now let's see what the updated matchups are. Spell Demon Hunter is not going to be your friend, same with Face Hunter because it's a little bit too quick and you don't really have any healing. Burn Mage, kind of same deal as Face Hunter. Bubble Pally is kind of 50-50, so not that bad, and everything else pretty good if you ask me. When on the mulligan, here's what it's gonna go like when you're going first. You're basically gonna be looking for your good early game Herald cards. The 1-drops are pretty good, heck even Witchwood's Apple could be worth it. Primordial Overseer could be great, especially if you already have Ritual of Power or at least Static Shock, and I would keep Static Shock only if I have Primordial Overseer. The Flight Maneuvers is also pretty worth if you're curving into it, and depending on the matchup you might consider Lightning Storm or Hex if you're expecting eggs. Curving into Xavius or Elise can also be pretty good. Going second, here I'd say Lightning Storm and Hex become even more keepable, heck even things like Avatar Form might become worth it, but for the most part you're still looking for your own game plan, so mulligan accordingly. We don't really have much else going on for Shaman right now, so this would be the deck to go for. This is the list I'm showing you, 3,800 games, 57.9 win rate, definitely pretty worth it, so give it a check. On the number 4 spot, we have Aggro Druid again, and I kinda am surprised by this because I felt like this deck kinda fell off lately, but no, it's still actually pretty worth it. This is the version with Bashana, which is pretty interesting. It's a new card from the class set, so kinda cool. And we also have a single copy of Panther Mask, with which you could be getting yourself a good amount of card draw. And the rest of the deck really looks standard stuff, only the long neck egg, I guess, is just a single copy in here, and I get that. But everything else looks pretty standard, even though Power of the Wild is not something we have seen too much of in the previous versions. This one actually hard runs it, which is kind of interesting. Other than that, the deck is pretty straightforward. You're trying to build a good wide sticky board, you buff it, and you kill the opponent easily. Again, check out all of my different variations of guides about this deck if you really want to know how to play it. Here's the matchups for this particular list. Not that much sample size, but still you get the picture. Face Hunter might be a little bit too quick, everything else actually kind of good. Let's check out a similar version just for the sake of having a better idea of what kind of matchups you should be expecting. And here's a version without the Power of the Wilds and has Forest Gift instead. This thing got nerfed, so I guess that's why it got swapped. And it has one more long neck egg. But yeah, let's see how it looks like for the matchups. And here we have it. Bubble Pally might be a problem. Other than that, it really is just nothing but net. Priest can be awkward, but if you build yourself a nice sticky board against them, you should be good. When it comes down to the mulligan, here's what it's gonna go when you're going first. You basically try to curve out with your good early game minions, and then you start buffing them. The Twilight Egg would be amazing, the Ravenous Flock would be insane, and if you have that, going into Hatchery Helper is absolutely brutal. Living Roots is another great 1-drop, the Long Neck Egg is pretty worth it, the Fellwood Treant also pretty nice, especially if you have something else to play so you can actually get that mana permanently, even though in some cases you just use it temporarily as well. The Wildwood Circle is still pretty strong, especially if you have a cheap metal hand. The rest probably not so worth holding on to, even though in some cases Innervate might also be worth it. Going second, again, Ravenous Flock MVP, the 1-drops, the hatchery helper if you already have the buffs, that kind of stuff. When it comes down to Druid, of course, we also have Merifra Druid doing really strong, especially in High Legend, but from Diamond to Legend, Aggro Druid definitely would be the go-to deck for the most part. We have all sorts of different iterations of Merifra Druids going on out there as well, but same can be said for Aggro Druids, and there's also this new Big Druid, which so far doesn't really show big stats, but people in Top Legend really do some wonders with it, and there's also Location Druids doing quite alright, but again, not according to the stats. And the last deck on the list is obviously gonna still be Face Hunter, because this deck is way too quick, way too efficient, and way too strong. Not much has changed about this deck, we still have several different iterations of it, and this one is going for a tame pet so you can get yourself more card draw from things like Confront the Tol'Vir. You don't really care about animal companions aside from that, it's literally all about the Confront. And the rest of it is really just standard stuff, guys. It's just Face Hunter, nothing really fancy about it. You just mash face, rinse and repeat. If the opponent manages to stabilized, you go at Confront the Tol'Vir, and suddenly the opponent stabilizes. Again, check out my detailed guides about decks like this, and you should be well on your way to easy legend with it. Matchup-wise, here's what we have right now. Spell Demon Hunter, a little bit too strong with their healing and such. Quest Priest can also be in the same boat, and Dragon Warrior also is a little bit too strong with their armor gain and decent pressure while controlling the board. Everything else, however, pretty strong for you, so again, a great deck to be climbing to legend with. When going first, here's what it's gonna go. Try to get yourself your good early game 1-drops, and if you already have a couple of 1-drops, keeping Confront the Tol'Vir can also be insane, and usually you want to be playing it on turn 4 after you've played at least 5 1-drops. Curving into Ranger Initiate Varissa can also be worth it, same can be said for Sylvanas, but honestly, I think for the most part you literally are just gonna hold on to your 1-drops. Holding on to 3-drops usually not that bright idea, you might as well just curve into them for the most part. On the coin, again, try to get your good early game pressure, don't get baited into holding on to cards like Tracking, Tame Pet, that kind of stuff. You're literally looking to be on the board. The card draw should come naturally to you later, so try to get the pressure early and rinse and repeat. For Hunter, of course, we're also gonna see Companion Hunter doing really strong right now, and honestly it does feel like the stronger deck, at least in Top Legend, because it really does do quite a lot, especially if you know how to pull it off, and it's a decent deck for Diamond to Legend as well, so definitely don't skip on it. As for the rest of it, it's literally just Face Hunters and Companion Hunters till the bottom. For the classes we haven't mentioned, starting off with Death Knight, we can see Unholy Death Knight does quite well right now, and it honestly was doing even better not too long ago, but right now the stats kinda mellowed out. Herald Death Knight, still pretty dog water, so pretty much don't touch it. For Mage, we have Quest Mage at the top, and in Top Legend people are really smashing with it. Burn Mage can also be pretty worth it. As for Leyline Mage, still pretty ass. It really is gonna need a little bit more support for it to really be working. For the Priest class, we have Quest Priest and Control Priest, which is basically the same thing, but with a different name kind of deal. And yeah, the class really does need a little bit of help right now, according to the stats at least, even though when I try it, I usually have a pretty good time with it. As for Rogue, even though the stats are not that crazy for it from Diamond to Legend, in Top Legend people are really doing crazy stuff with it, and it is abusing the new cards. Vanessa the Ringleader, you can definitely give that deck a check from my channel, already gave you a guide about it. It really does feel like a strong deck with several different versions where they include indeed Vanessa, and it's a really top tier deck if you really know how to play it, but obviously the skill cap is very high. For Warlock, Egg Warlock is still gonna be your best bet, and we're talking about the cheaper version without the expensive stuff like Asphyxidon and Possessed Animaster and such. You basically try to curve into your egg, and after that revive a bunch of them with Umbra. You also get to get yourself a lot of extra stuff with the help of Archdruid of Thorns, that kind of stuff. Rafael Warlock I've also seen here and there, but it's still a pretty bad deck. And lastly we have Warrior, which is not that bad right now, but it definitely is not the monster of a deck it used to be. Honestly, the nerf really did kind of touch it. That Dark Rider losing one attack definitely ain't no joke. And right now it's sitting at only 56% win rate with a good sample size. It's still a strong deck, especially if you're facing Face Hunters, but for the most part, it's not what it used to be. Herald Warrior is still pretty okay. Egg Warrior is also pretty good against Spell Demon Hunters and Face Hunters for that matter, so it's still a pretty strong deck if you ask me. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. I hope this helps you hit easy legend in the new season, and do let me know in the comments what deck you're enjoying the most right now, and I might give you an updated guide about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be great. Don't forget to check me out live on stream, and thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.